drug addiction to recovery. So I started using drugs at 16. It was during WAEC holiday, and my friend introduced me to a party. So I ate it. After that was my first experience with drugs. After that, I met him maybe some weeks later, and then he rolled it up and we smoked it, So that was actually my first experience with drugs.
Yeah, the burden of drug abuse in Nigeria is high. I think the last information that I got about is about 14.3 million Nigerians are involved in drug abuse. So that means that's about 20. In Nigeria is about 200 million. That is about 20-something% of it. That means if you pick 10 people, 2 people have potential of being into drug abuse.
My name is Clinton DK. Drug addiction to recovery. So I started using drugs at 16. It was during WAEC holiday, and my friend introduced me to a party. So I ate it. After that was my first experience with drugs. After that, I met him maybe some weeks later, and then he rolled it up and we smoked it, So that was actually my first experience with drugs per se, So I was 16 and I got at a party. So subsequently I went to university and freedom and all of that. So made some friends that were smoking too. So from there, weed became a lifestyle, We started smoking weed daily, every time. And eventually graduated from weed to cigarettes, codeine, pills, molly, and then eventually during my IT, a friend of mine introduced me to cocaine, and from there everything went southward. I mean, it was bad before, but everything went southward from getting addicted to cocaine. So yeah, basically that's just.
So basically, I think we need to start from what drug abuse is and what it is not. Really the context of our environment. People always misinterpret drug abuse with drug misuse and drug addiction. So I think it's nice that we put a context into that, so that before we understand what roles as pharmacists in the country, what role we play in the management of drug abuse and the reduction and sensitization of people also. So normally when we look at drug abuse, it's different from drug misuse. Drug misuse is when you are using a drug for a particular indication or ailment. Let me use the word ailment, and you are using it not as prescribed. For example, let me give you an example of what drug misuse. Let's say you have an headache and you are told to use 2 tablets of paracetamol 3 times daily, and you decide to, after taking the 2, you feel like you're not getting better, let me add 1 or 2 more to it. That is drug misuse. So a lot of people are fond of that in our environment. We see that every day, people misusing drugs. Another example is when you take another person's medication. Or somebody told you that, this drug, I use it for your headache, you too, go ahead and use it. That is drug misuse. When we're talking about drug abuse. Drug abuse is talking about when you use a drug more than what is indicated for. When you want to get more feelings out of that drug. For example, the popular opioid analgesic like tramadol that a lot of people use. We know that this drug is an analgesic for management of some severe pain. But because of the euphoria that a lot of people get from it, you see them using this drug. So that means when you use such drug, let's say tramadol, not for analgesic purpose, when you start using it to get euphoria from it, that means you are abusing such drug. Are you getting it? Then when we look at drug addiction is when you can no longer control yourself on the usage of that drug. Like you cannot live a normal life except you take that drug. You see the people that they are depressed because they cannot take a particular medication. So you need to ask yourself when you are taking a drug, why am I taking this drug? Can I live a normal life without this drug? When you see somebody that says I cannot live, I cannot even go out, I can't eat except I take this drug, that means the person has already slipped into drug addiction.
Nínú ìgbésí ayé ẹ̀dá kò tọ́ kí ọmọdé ní àfojúdi. Àfojúdi ló sọ mí dé ibi nǹkan mímu. Kí ló fà á? Mo wo àwòkọ́ṣe láti ipasẹ̀ ẹni tí mò ń gbé lọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀. Nítorí mo gbé pẹ̀lú àbúrò ìyá mi. Àbúrò ìyá mi yẹn jẹ́ ẹni tó mu igbó. Igbó tó mu yìí, mo wà ní bíi ọmọ ọdún 13 years tó ti ń rán mi ní igbó yẹn lọ ra igbó wá. Èmi ni máa lọ sí joint tí máa lọ ra igbó yẹn fún un. Nínú ṣíṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ni mo rò pé ohun tó dáa ni nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn. Torí pé tó lọ síbi iṣẹ́ láàárọ̀ ó máa mu igbó yìí. Tó bá dé lálẹ́ ó máa mú. Èmi náà ló dẹ̀ máa rán. Wọ́n bá mú yẹn máa ń wo bó ṣe ń wé, bó ṣe ń mu pé eléyìí tún yàtọ̀ sí bí ó ṣe ń ṣe bí wọ́n ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe rí tí wọ́n ń mu sìgá. Sìgá wọ́n máa ti wé lẹ́ẹ̀mí tó máa ti rà. Ṣùgbọ́n bóun ṣe máa ṣe máa wé tó máa fi tọ́pa tó máa ṣe oúnjẹ ohun tó ń yà mí lẹ́nu tó jẹ́ ohun tí mò ń rò láti mọ̀ ọ́ ṣe. Débi pé mo di ẹni tó dé ìwé 5 tó ń rán mi ní nǹkan yìí. Mo wá ṣẹ̀ fúnra ara mi di ẹni tó máa ṣọ́ tó bá sọ claro ẹlẹ́yìí tó mú kù máa mú. Tó bá dalẹ́ tóun bá wọlé tó sùn, èmi máa ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mú yẹn máa tanná sí máa mú. Mo wá rí pé time tí n bá mu claro tó fi ilẹ̀ yẹn ó máa ń jẹ́ kí ojú mi ṣe bákan ojú mi máa yí dà, wọ́n máa gbogbo nǹkan wọ́n máa yàtọ̀ sí mi. Wọ́n á wò pé kí lèyí ń ṣe mí bákan, ṣé bó ṣe ń ṣe wọ́n rèé. Débi pé tí mi ìbá tètè rí ijọ́ tó bá mú tán tí mi rí mu, mo lọ ń já etí ẹní tí máa finá sí etí ẹní yẹn tí máa fà láti mú gẹ́gẹ́ bíi pé bóyá mò ń mu igbó.
Okay, so I've had a series of experience with people who have abused drugs in the past. So I can still name few. I had people even in the corporate world who did drugs. So, and we just discovered that they skip work at times just to go and take drugs. At times during their break or leisure time, rather than to rest their brain, what they do is actually do drugs. And it's more dangerous when they have like minds around, because I've also noticed that they are like set of people, and most times when maybe only one of them is on duty, it's usually difficult for that person to like maybe go and do drugs alone. But when they have themselves in like numbers and 2 and 3s, they can easily just rally around, okay, let's just go, and before you know it, they are out and they come back, they are looking, I don't know, wasted. Let me use that word. So that's my experience with them. I've also had experience with this close relative at a point, and this person used to be a very, very bright person before going to school, and he went to school. He got to a point that he was admitted at the neuropsychiatric hospital at Arrow, and the family spent a whole lot rehabilitating him. But the effects of the damage of the drug that the damage that the drug has done in his brain or in his health still lingers, because over time we still had to like take him there for medical checkup and treatment.
This is Saint Kunle Ja Soldier Agbola, President and Mission Director, Positive Youth Mission Squad Center, also known as Positive Youth and Family Life Mission, Mawoko, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Well, thank you. The Positive Youth Mission Squad is actually a comprehensive youth development mission organization. We do not. It's not just only rehabilitation that we do per se. The organization is involved in a total package for young ones. We do counseling, career counseling, character management, relationship and skill acquisition, skill development, and so on. And in our center, from time to time, we organize programs for young ones. We do outreaches to help young ones battling with several challenges in life. And then now, why rehabilitation now came in when we discovered that a number of young ones that need to be empowered or redirected in their life, no matter what we offer them, we notice this scourge of drug addiction and some other social vices have been a lot of kind of a big setback for the young ones to progress in life. And so we decide to face that challenge, deal with it first before we can do anything positive in their life. So that was how we got into rehabilitation. Taking note of the fact that there are various factors responsible for their going into drug, like majority of them from dysfunctional homes, some also as a result of peer pressure, some challenges in life, depression, maybe academic challenges. We now push them into taking solace in drug.
And for us as a pharmacist, the role that we play, like you asked, in the management of drug abuse in Nigeria is so much. We keep on talking about it. Even in this year, World Pharmacists, they will still discuss about the importance of management of drug abuse and how we should sensitize our people. One of the things that we do as pharmacists to ensure that we control the drugs, first of all. Within our context, when you come to buy drug that we know that they have potential of being abused, we try to control it. We don't just give it to clients or patients without proper education. Another thing we do is to sensitize people about the danger of drug abuse. See pharmacists going out to educate people, going out to different groups that are involved in drug abuse to let them know that this thing have a debilitating effect, on your health. So those are the things that we do as pharmacists. We sensitize, we educate, and we inform the population about the danger of drug abuse. We manage it, we try to give them adequate knowledge that they need to know, and so that the burden and the effect on the overall society will be reduced.
Pharmacists play a holistic role. By holistic, I mean that both at the manufacturing level, at control levels, at institutional control levels, NAFDAC, NDLA, and other associated bodies, and at the community level. Let's start from the community. Pharmacists help to track. We have a way to track patients that request for this. Number one, we check illegal prescriptions, check illegal requests, and we decline such requests. We don't just stop at declining such requests. We counsel those such patients. If some of them are willing, we refer them to centers and institutions where they can be helped. For example, someone on injectables that are controlled. We've had a lot of cases. I don't want to mention specific names, but we've had cases where we have to refer to the hospital where the prescriptions are generated to let them know if the prescriptions are being forged. If not, if the patient needs further help, we have to, call and liaise with other health professionals to help such patients if they are willing. For those who are not willing, who decline and walk away, we may not be able to do so much, but we stop it at the level of the community pharmacy. Hospitals do the same. At institutional levels, those help to execute already written laws with respect to control of medicines. We do a lot. We have registers that we sign. We have records that are up to date to ensure that these preparations, these substances are tracked with respect to those ones that are dispensed at the pharmacy level. For other ones at the community level, the other ones that are, for example, marijuana and things like that, that are not within the purview of pharmacists. When we have patients like that, we refer them, we counsel them, we do a lot, we give first aid and refer to appropriate institutions that can help them. For those who, have taken such psychotropic substances that have affected, them mentally, we refer them to hospitals. Sometimes we have to reach out to medical professionals and, link them up with those in that area, psychiatrists, psychologists, and the rest who can come in at the right time and help such patients as long as they are willing.
So, drugs that have potential of being abused, they are not intended to be abused. Like I said, they are indicated for some certain conditions. But however, because of the adverse effect or the side effects that some of this drug produces, like the euphoria that we are seeing in tramadol and the rest like that, most of this opioid analgesics, the likes of codeine and the rest like that, people want to use it for that purpose. So the rumors that pharmacists are getting money out of it, the problem we have in our society as a Nigerian society is the fact that many people cannot even distinguish between pharmacists and other drug sellers. Is where the challenge is. Most of the things that people get access to these drugs in most places that are not registered pharmacies. Like in Nigeria, you can walk into, you see a lot of people selling drugs even beside the road, but these are not well regulated in our country. So most of them are not from pharmacies. I can say that because pharmacists understand the dangers of these things. But people are involved in this business. They are not even professionals. Those are the ones that can manipulate, manipulate some of these things, that can make these things to look as if it has to be said, because they know that a lot of people that are drug addicts, they can pay any amount to get some of these drugs. So the rumors, people need to understand where some of these things are coming from. It's not, most of them are not registered pharmacists. They are not trained pharmacists. They are people that are just selling drugs here and there. And most of our society, they don't understand the difference between a pharmacist and other drug sellers. It becomes very difficult for them to distinguish. And we have been trying as much as possible to sensitize people to ensure that when you are buying drugs, ensure that you get it at a registered pharmacist, not just beside the road or any other place that they are selling drugs. So that's the way the line is. I think it's a big thing that even the government needs to look into this to see that these issues are well managed.
No, pharmacists do not sell controlled substances because we safeguard lives. But I want to make a distinction. There are pharmacists, there are those in the pharmaceutical business. They are different things. A pharmacist's own pharmacy is directly responsible to the Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria, and our activities are regulated. Apart from the fact that we are trained and we have a conscience doing what we are doing. We know the end result of this. We never do that. But there are those in the pharmaceutical business who, by chance, somehow, some of them may be doing this, selling what they should not sell. And Pharmacists Council is working hard on this. NDLEA is working hard on this, in collaboration with other units involved. They are doing this to track them down and regulate them. That's why we have regulators in the country. Pharmacists do not, emphatically, sell and that it's highly unethical. It's unethical. We don't do it. It's of no way an advantage to any of us who do that. But there are those who are in the pharmaceutical business who are quacks, or those who are doing so illegally, and the government is working hard on apprehending them and doing justice to those situations. So pharmacists don't do that. We never do. We signed an oath. We don't do it.
Definitely. No. There are so many people that you suspect that they could be a drug addict or they are abusing drugs. Number one thing that you suspect is that a drug that is a prescription drug, most of these controlled drugs are prescribed and they are what we call prescription only medicines. When you see somebody walking in to ask for prescription only medicines without bringing approved prescription from hospital, is a sign or is a suspect for drug abuse. Another one we also notice is people that come to give you false feelings about drugs. Like, for example, I can't sleep if I don't take this drug. I can't do something if I don't take this. Those are potential suspects for drug abuse. Another thing is when you see a person coming over and over to buy a particular controlled drug without proper explanation. You know, by the time when you question and you ask them a few things, you see that what they are saying does not really correlate professionally. You know, this person is using this drug for something else. So these are some of the signs that we see, and we see that some of them are so desperate too. They want to buy it even at a higher price. They want to get it. So these are some of the signs that we see as a community pharmacist.
At the level of the pharmacy, those abusing medications usually go to the community. They do not go to the hospitals to ask for. And the red flags are all there. That's why we are trained. We know the red flags. We see it. The first thing is once the prescription is not available, one, or the prescription is not current, or three, there's a way we see it. We know if the prescription is not right. And there are some that, have the right prescriptions and everything is correct. You dispense once, they come back again. We track them. We know, we ask questions, we probe. Sometimes we have to double check behind these patients to know, that's what I do, and that's what my colleagues do. Sometimes we have to call medical doctors and clarify. We are having prescriptions from you, from this hospital, we find who the doctor is. Are you the one writing it? And some of them decline, and we report such cases immediately. The red flags are all there. They are all there. We see it, we know.
Of course, controlled drugs are not usually displayed like that over the counter. So when you come to buy it, we scrutinize you, we ask you questions, we ask for your prescriptions. If you don't have prescriptions, we don't sell it because it's a prescription only medicine, it's a controlled drug. A controlled drug should be sold under the supervision of the pharmacist with appropriate counsel to the patient. So if somebody shows up and say, I want to buy it, even if they bring money, you know the danger that are there. The danger is not to the individual alone, but to the whole society. We ask them to go ahead and bring the prescription. Let the drug be prescribed by a registered doctor, and so that we know that truly you really need this drug. Some of them are even manipulated. They can even get prescription, but by the time you ask questions before you sell those drugs to them, you definitely see that this person wants to abuse it. And what you can do is to tell the person that I can't sell without prescription, or probably you deny the person by saying that I don't have it for now, or you can get it somewhere else, or you counsel the patient on how to break free from the drug abuse.
I'm Ubebo Anthony, that's my name. So I'm the head of health education, drug and drug abuse prevention, head up department, Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Abeokuta. I also double as the hospital chaplain. Well, our roles in identifying and treating drug abuse varies. We are involved in screening of clients generally. It's an hospital where people come in for different things, but most people just know that this is a mental health institution, but we do more than just treating mental illness. People come in here when they are applying for job part of the requirement often is to do a medical examination, and then students seeking admission to higher institutions, they come in for medical examination too. And in the process, some of them are found to be on this substance use. There are many treatment options. The first line of treatment is what we call detoxification, detox for short. The individual coming to the clinic is seen, and if he has a serious drug problem, we say, okay, you will need a detox. Usually between 2 weeks to 8 weeks. The person, what we do in detox is to withdraw this substance from the system of the individual. You admit the person, you place the person on continuous observation, because usually when people are on drug, it changes their way of life, and when you are trying to withdraw it, the body will react, and then we now manage that reaction, which we call withdrawal symptoms. Depending on the drug, if someone is on heroin, for example, they will be having tearing, like I said earlier, lacrimation, then excessive loose stool, okay, uncontrollable diarrhea, and then we have to manage all that. Then if it's cannabis, the person will become highly irritable and maybe pacing up and down, finding it difficult to sit in one place and all that. And so whatever drug and whatever reaction we put on, those things are managed within that period. Then the next line of treatment is counseling and behavioral therapies. In drug treatment, counseling is key. The individual have to be reorientated, re-educated, to be made to unlearn these negative habits they have learned, picked up along the line. And so addiction counseling is a big thing in addiction treatment. And then when we move on from there, depending on the severity, the person may need rehabilitation, proper rehabilitation. What that means, the individual will have to be admitted for a longer period, maybe between 6 months to 12 months, where different therapies, treatment options are also available. The person can be placed on medication depending on, if it's alcohol, there are some drugs that, apart from taking care of the withdrawal symptoms, there are some drugs that can be used for them depending on the severity. There's what we call disulfiram, antabuse. Okay, there is nicotine patch for those who smoke cigarettes. Okay, these are just patches that are placed on their body, maybe the thighs or the tummy. They are actually nicotine, but in a smaller doses that they can absorb, instead of taking the smoke to damage their liver and all that. Over time, those things are weaning off those things, but that will help control the withdrawal symptoms at least for some time. Then in the treatment center, when they are undergoing rehabilitation, there are different things we do for them. They are exposed to vocational training, because most of them would have dropped out of school, they would have dropped out of their job, or they would have lost their job they were working. Then they would have had marital failure and all that. All of those things are addressed. Some are even indebted. Some may have issue with their physical health. All of those things will be addressed during rehabilitation. And if they need physical treatment, for example, they could be referred to FMC or UCH or any hospital we feel can help them. If they are suffering from tuberculosis, they could be referred to the chest center at Sacred Heart, or HIV, they could be referred to Luth and some other places. Then if they are on opioid like codeine, which is common, or tramadol and all that, they can be placed on propofol or naltrexone and all those stuff. So these are different options we have for them. But essentially, we always advise that drug abuse is a chronic relapsing illness. So the fact that somebody came for treatment once does not necessarily mean that he will be off it. Some may be, some we have to come 2-3 times before they get over it. So that is the various options available.
Okay, at the point here, a couple years back, 3 years ago, I think, I got tired, I was like, this is not my life. I was like, this is not my life at all. Like, tired of letting my family down, tired of being sad, tired of being depressed. I prayed to God. I said, God, I need help, because sometimes I tried to stop on my own, but I found out that whenever I tried to stop, like, I can't stop. I might stop for a week or two, then I'll probably do it back. So I came back from, I used to work. Yeah, I came back from my job during the holiday. And I spent a ridiculous amount of money, and that hurts me. So I texted my mom that I need help. You know, while I was doing the drugs, I said, Mom, I need help. I hadn't been home for some days. I said, Mom, I need help. And I didn't even know that she had been looking for like rehabilitations for me, even without asking. So as soon as I told her I needed help, when I came back, you know, we looked for a couple of rehabs, you know, online. We checked out a few. Then eventually we found out about Kadam. Yeah, and then because Kadam was already full, then like they already had intake. So I was referred from Kadam to St. Kunle Agbola, Jasoja. So came here. I did my first 6 months here. There was ups and downs. You know, came out of here. I thought I was ready to face the world. I went back to Lagos, went back home. After like 6 months, I was doing pretty good. Everybody was happy. After 6-7 months, I relapsed again. I started using drugs again. So good thing about that was I'm the kind of person that I speak up. So once I fell, I spoke up. I told my parents. I also told my therapist that I needed help and all of that. So I came back to rehabilitation, this place, Mauko. I did another 2 months. I went back home again. I relapsed again. So I came back again and I did another 2 months. And then I figured out that like me going back to Lagos here, there's always a tendency that like I'll always use drugs if I'm in Lagos until I'm strong enough. Because even when I don't want to do it, because of the surroundings and because of the environment, imagine the dealer can just even come to your house and knock on your gate. I mean, like I have the personal experience that the dealer came to my house, you know, to look for me. So I decided that, you know, with praying, fasting, all of that, I decided that, okay, I'm about to change an environment. I was even supposed to even travel, you know, out of this country for school and all that, but I couldn't trust myself that I wouldn't use drugs when I travel. So what I did was that, after praying, I relocated to Abeokuta here, and it's been over a year I've been clean, and God has been helping me, you know, staying away from Lagos, staying close to St. Kunle. I teach here on Mondays, you know, staying around the guys, encouraging them, staying around people generally, yeah. That's the bell, you know, they're about to have lunch. So, staying around the guys here, and that's encouraged me, to be honest. It has.
Of course, the first few weeks they will be here. There's what we call the detoxification process. That is trying to discharge the substance that are still present in their system for some weeks. And while they deal with that withdrawal symptoms, we give them some medical and counseling process, subject them to some detoxification process. And after that, they now start the classes. We run it more like an academic program. We have classes and we have curriculum. So the major courses of interest here are, we have the first and foremost, because it's a Christian faith-based organization, we have the basic Bible and Christian discipleship training. We have a leadership training program. We have a life skill and care. Then we have also what I call creative therapy and evangelism. We also have what we call spiritual therapy and relapse prevention. And we have group therapy, then individual therapies or personal therapy. And also we entertain those who have passed through the program to come and share their experience, practical experience outside there with those who are still in the program. So, and it's a total package. We also have what is also called Life After Rehab. It's another program. Towards the end of the program, we begin to approach, you know, enlighten them about new life out there. Like we always tell them, they won't stop selling drugs outside because of you. They won't stop selling cigarettes and beer outside because of you. But what we are giving them here is how to cope with those challenges over there. Self-control is a major course of study. We focus on self-control, and then friendship, relationship, because a lot of time also they have this peer pressure as a strong factor. So we let them know, have a different perception about friendship and relationship. Who is a friend? Who is a close friend? Who are those ones we can call acquaintances? So we teach them about friendship and relationship and how to maintain your personality. Then we also talk about, I think that also comes under character management. We also deal with character management. And a lot of time we see them, they fall victim of all this because they don't really know who they are, how to manage their individual character, weakness, strength, moods and emotion. That has to do with their temperament. So those are the various areas that we cover here, why they are here, so that whatever may be the case, at any point in time, you will know how to manage your temperament. When you want to express anger, you must know how to manage your anger. You don't need to go into substance to manage your anger. When you are sad, you don't need substance to suppress your sadness.
Okay, so basically the two major drugs that are in town is crystal meth, which is ice, and this Colorado that boys smoke now. It's very dangerous. It's time consuming to waste your time. They take away reality from you and give you an illusion to think you are doing things right. Time is going, the rest is going, but you won't know. But until you come to a state where you say no, it can't be, this thing can be master over you, you'd rather be the master over it, then I think you get solution. If you are hooked on this, otherwise you seek help immediately before it ruins you.
For the family, for a family who has a child or sibling or a member of the family who has been identified as an addict, you can only blame that victim for the first exposure. It's a mental health issue. It's beyond their control. Once they've taken the first dose of whatever substance and they continue it, you can no longer blame them. They can't help themselves. Get them help. Take them to the take them to the appropriate psychiatric hospital. There are psychiatric hospitals all around. There are rehabilitation centers. Take them to the hospital immediately. One, they diagnose other mental health issues that have developed secondary to the exposure. They help to manage it while you get help via rehabilitation. Do not blame them for that. They cannot help themselves. They are helpless. If you leave them, they keep going down down and down. And you do not know where this will end. Some of them end up not recovering. Some of them end up losing their lives. And you cannot blame them for that. They need your help. They need help. Substance abuse is beyond the control of the victim. You can only blame them for the first exposure.
Yeah, I mean, I've had suicidal thoughts, I just couldn't just bring myself. I just couldn't bring myself to kill myself. But I had suicidal thoughts, yeah. One time I came out from a binge. It's called a binge, when you go all out, you leave home for 3 days and maybe you go to where they sell a drug joint and spend ridiculous amounts of money. I came back. I went to that place for me session. I went with my laptop. I went with my headphones, a bunch of other gadgets. I sold my laptop for a ridiculous amount. A very expensive laptop. It's a MacBook Pro. My Beats by Dre, very expensive headphones too. Silly things that I sold, my phone, all of that. I was like, when I came back, my dog was waiting for me, in my room. I hadn't fed it in some days, I even beat it so much that I broke its eye. Yeah, because I was unstable. And then I just thought about everything, how the dog just came, regardless, he just came to meet me, he missed me, he loves me, all of that, regardless of what I did to it, yeah. And everything just put me on an emotional roller coaster, like, what's going on with you, I was like, I just came and I was like, bro, you just did all these things. Like, I was weeping, like literally my parents had even give up on me. My dad was like, I'm no longer his son, he had disowned me. But when they called me that evening, they never see me cry like that. It's like, my sisters were there, my younger sister's brother. I didn't care about anything, I was weeping, Cause like I felt really, really, really bad. Like I was weeping so bad, and although they said they had given up on me, but they saw my remorse and they saw how it touched me and everything, and they were like, okay, they're willing to give me one last chance, and they did pay for my rehab again, and I came back here, and since then it's been good, to be honest. So at that point here, I wanted to kill myself, but I just couldn't bring, how, what would I do, right? I just couldn't bring myself to do it. To be honest, my mom, you know, whenever, even while I was in the drug joint, I would spend my money to my last kobo. But I knew that no matter what, if I call a cab and take a cab home, no matter what, my mom is going to pay regardless. If I call her, she's going to, no matter everything, she's just going to come through for me, to be honest. And, you know, shout out to my family, to be honest, because if they were not there for me, mom, dad, I promise maybe I would have been dead, to be honest.
There are a few number of factors that can lead to sources of drug treatment. Number one is early detection. The earlier it is detected, the better it will be resolved. You see, when someone has just started, it has not gone so deep. It has not damaged the liver, it has not damaged the lung, it has not damaged the brain. The individual can still be rescued very easily. But what we find that people delay, so a lot of damage would have been done. So early detection and reporting to treatment centers like ours, we lead to high success rate. Then good social support is the next thing, like you said. What does that mean? If a client from a family background where the father, the mother, or the husband, or the employer, if it's someone employing, are ready to give their financial support, their moral support, their emotional support to the individual, say we are with you, we will help you get out of this thing, the individual will recover faster and better than someone who they just brought admission, or maybe like we see at times, maybe it's the what do you call it, the old school, secondary school association that just bundle him from wherever he is doing drug on the street. They manage to pay the admission fee. No relative is showing up, nobody is, or the person has been laid off for. And now who continue the treatment, who continue to provide the finance for the treatment? You want to buy drugs, you want to do other things. If you have physical health, who is going to pay for the treatment, FMC and some other things? These are key. So, but when you have a family where all those things are there, the wife is still there or the husband is still there, and then the job is there, people are ready to encourage him to go through it, the individual will recover faster than where all these things are lacking. If the person has lost a job, the family will say, okay, so what can we do? We say, okay, what do you want to do? So I want to do a business, or I want to learn a trade like that, and they are ready to pay for all that. Then the person will recover faster and better. That is key. Family, good social support. Then when you have non-discriminatory approach to individuals suffering from substance use disorder, people don't stigmatize them. They are not castigated in the school where they are, or in their place of work. They are not laid off. They are not expelled from school, and then the community where they live, they don't isolate them. They will do well. Okay, then where you have the collaborative strategic agencies working together, NDLA, Custom, Police, and the like, and they can collaborate to address this issue even before it gets out of hand. Like what the current Ogun State NYC head is doing. The woman is doing a human job. Every time they have these coppers at the camp, she just called on us, please, I have some fresh coppers. I would like people to come and educate them. With that, you can discover this thing early before it get out of hand and they are donated the board. These are factors that can lead to success. Then awareness campaign by government agencies like National Orientation Agencies, so it ought to be part of their program. They should embark on aggressive media campaign. We have government medias like NTA and the like, even the print medias. So if these things are brought in the fourth burner, people see the consequences, they bring experts to educate them online and all that, then the success rate will be more. Thank you.
Very big role, very vital and important role. Sincerely, I don't see how a drug addict or a recovery addict will actually be able to stand and remain clean for long without a visible family support, sound family support. If there is any support at all that an addict needs for proper recovery, primarily it is the family, the immediate family. Why? Because that is the first backbone. Like any human being, even if you are not an addict, to make it in life, you need the support of your family. The family, in the first place, is the first set of background or backup that an individual needs. As you come out as a human being, you were born as a child, the first institution of learning and training that anybody will have is the family. And like you see in the name of our organization, why we emphasize the importance of family, that's why we call it Positive Youth and Family Life Mission. Positive Youth and Family Life Mission, because we have seen that there is no, for any individual to grow up from childhood to a responsible adult member of the society, he needs the support of the family first and foremost. There are 4 major institutions that is responsible for the upbringing of, or that are responsible for the upbringing of any child from that childhood to the age of a responsible adult. First, we have the family institution, then we have the religious institution, we have the educational institution, and then the formation institution. Now, out of these 4 institutions that are established for the proper upbringing of a child to a responsible adult age, the family institution is the first and the primary, because every information that the child needs first to be responsible in life starts from the home. A child may not know what it means to be godly. He just grew up. It is the responsibility of the family to give him that godly training. A child does not know what it means to respect anybody. It is the responsibility of the family to tell him what it means to be respectful. A child does not know what it means to be friendly or to be to think about somebody else, to love. A child does not know what it means. It is the family that will be the first to teach that child. And so it is the home training that the child has that will determine the next step in his life. Now you will see, you can agree with me that a child that lacks home training will be a headache to the Sunday school teacher in the church. He will be the one that will be a headache to the teacher in the school. Because whatever a Sunday school teacher will build on, it is the foundation the home has given that child. Whatever the teacher in the school will build on, it is the foundation that the child has gotten from home. Now, it is not the teacher that will be teaching a child to greet when you wake up in the morning. It is the responsibility of the parent. So now, all those other information. Now, for a child now to get to the level of reformation institution, which is the last. And like I said, over the years, I had this experience that I've been counseling young ones about careers and all those things, what you want to be in life. I've not had, for 30 years over, I've not had a child who says, oh, when I say, what do you want to be in life? What do you want to be in life? I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a musician, I want to be a police, I want to be a footballer. I've not had a child that said, I want to be an armed robber as a child. Huh? Oh, I want to be a prostitute. Or I want to be a hired killer. No, they all want to be good. But how come, as they are growing up now, they end up becoming armed robbers, hired killers, prostitutes? It's because all this institution of learning that's supposed to bring up that ideal, responsible child to an adult age has failed them. Now, for the child now to get to the level of going for a reformation institution like the prison, remand home, or rehab center to learn what is right or wrong, like we are teaching them here. It means first and foremost that the family institution has failed upon that child, the educational institution has failed, the religious institution has failed for that child not to become a candidate of a reformation institution. So that is why the role of family is very, very vital in the life of every individual. And now for a recovery addict to get better, the family also needs to take up that responsibility too.
Yeah, the burden of drug abuse in Nigeria is high. I think the last information that I got about is about 14.3 million Nigerians are involved in drug abuse. So that means that's about 20. In Nigeria is about 200 million. That is about 20-something% of it. That is if you pick 10 people, 2 people have potential of being into drug abuse. So what I will advise for me, because of the large numbers that we have, let people or families that have people that are into drug abuse, let them seek help. There are so many organizations out there, both governmental and non-governmental, that help those people to navigate those things and help them, counsel them, give them guidelines, and help them throughout the period of recovery and the rest like that. So we really need to seek help. I think a lot of organizations are coming out to be advocate for decrease in drug abuse, supporting government here and there. So I think the number one thing is don't keep quiet. Open up to people that can be of help. Then counsel the person, to follow up with the person. Know some of these things that trigger some people are going through some things that make them to become drug abuse. We want to be a drug abuser. They started maybe they are going through some challenges in their emotional life, in their job, or any other aspect of their life, their marriage, and they think that, oh, let me just use this drug, to cover it up. So if you are able to address some of those challenges, I think the bottom will be. So, but the bottom line is, if you have anybody around you, please try and seek help. Get them to people that can be of help to them, that will support them, that will encourage them, that will give them necessary support. Because this thing cannot be done as an individual. You need support. People that have been trained to manage this kind of public health issues. So I think that's only thing, the advice. And as parents or family members, please, let's keep watch over our words. Let's keep watch over our children. A lot of people are into drug abuse and we don't know. It can lead to a lot of emotional instability, can lead to suicidal tendencies and the rest like that. Please, let us see those people as let's not condemn them. Let's extend our hands of support to them. And like I said, please seek help and ask necessary questions when the need arises. Thank you.
Well, like I've just spoken with one or so this morning on phone. Family are calling, I had to encourage him. What I will always tell them is that there is hope for you. And once you got into it, there's a way out. It's not a death sentence. Addiction to drug or substance is not a death sentence. It's like any other addiction in life. There's a way out. There is hope for every addict out there to seek help. The first thing, don't hide it. I tell them, don't hide it and don't pretend that you can handle it. Hey, you cannot handle it. Addiction is a spiritual and it's a spiritual battle. It's also is a challenge that an individual cannot do it alone. So seek the support of your family members. Open up to them when they begin to see the sign. Please speak to your family members and then seek professional help. Seek professional help. Counselors, pastors, religious leaders, and health practitioners that can help you. You cannot help yourself alone. And I will also advise families, please, when you know or you see signs from your child or your siblings Speak out. Ask them. Don't mock them and don't harass them. That is another advice for families. Don't harass them. Don't stigmatize them. Don't humiliate them. No, talk to them in love. Talk to them with understanding. Because most of the time, why they hide that habit when they are struggling with it is because they are afraid of stigmatization. They are afraid of being harassed, being humiliated. So families also should learn that when you notice it, don't harass them. Seek their understanding. Talk with them with passion so that they will be able to open up. Because if they are not sure you want to help them or you want to encourage them, then they will be hiding. And at the same time, second advice for families also, be cautious of manipulation. And that is why once you notice that, seek professional advice early, because they are very smart. They will continue to manipulate you, particularly parents. If the father is soft towards the child and the mother is the one that is tough, they will continue to manipulate the emotions of that father. And if it is the mother that is soft, most of the time it is mother that is soft towards the child will be manipulating the emotions of the mother and painting the father like the devil. While the mother will want to protect, but at the end of the day, the mother will regret for harboring and condoling that child. You don't need to condole them, but be sincere with them. Don't be too pathetic. Don't be too emotional and sentimental about the issue, but be sound. And another thing, I will tell parents generally, when you notice some changes in your child, don't underestimate their intelligence and don't be overconfident in your child. You can be shocked.
Well, the healthcare, existing healthcare facilities that are into this, they need to be properly funded. Apparently they are not. The government need to have the political will to address this problem. We talk about HIV, malaria, but nobody is looking at drug abuse. And drug abuse is presently a negative phenomenon in the country. It's a scourge that is ravaging our youth, and these are the future of Nigeria. And so if we don't deal with it, I'm afraid we may have tomorrow's leaders who are junkies, and that becomes an issue. So the government must be proactive now and do something concrete about it. They must have the political will to make laws and implement them to address this issue and make funds available for the agencies that are trying to control this thing. Then training is another thing, capacity building. Training and retraining for these experts, because things are evolving every day. Science is highly dynamic, so we can't continue to use the old system to manage the new development we are seeing. So people must be exposed, those who are experts must be exposed to continuous training locally and internationally. And then the traditional rulers and the religious leaders must be involved. Because they are the people that are the grassroots. They are the people that the local people relate with most. And most of them, in our environment, the traditional rulers are very, very important, because whatever they say, the community tend to hit their core. The same thing with the religious leaders. So they must see drug abuse problem as their problem and get involved. And then the schools, we must begin to involve drug abuse education as part of our secondary school curriculum. By so doing, we'll catch them young, and then that will help to improve the policies and the systems fighting this thing. Thank you.
Addiction is a scourge in the society now. It has become a pandemic worldwide, it's not locally. It's a end time evil that is eating up the society, and it's a deadly waster, wasting talent, wasting potentials, and everybody needs to be involved in this battle. Don't tell me, hey, because your son is safe today, because your daughter is not involved, if he's not involved today, tomorrow he may be involved. So, and if he's not involved in drug addiction itself, you, yourself, your sibling, your brother can be a victim of drug addiction eventually, because those addicts, once they are under the influence of addiction and all those substances, they are not in control of themselves. They can harm you they can destroy, they can kill, and it will be under the influence of that. So you can become a victim. And let's try, join our forces, hands together, whatever you can do to support the campaign against drug addiction and to help those ones. Show them love, show them understanding that drug addicts are not criminals. They are just victims. They need support. They need everybody's support. And if you say, oh, because you're, like I always tell some people, if you feel your child, you want to secure the future of your child, and you are saving money for him or for her to have the best school, best job, best house, best this. There are some people, as a result of addiction, they've been abandoned by families and friends. They don't have anybody to help them plan their future anymore, to secure their future. Please, if it is 1,000 naira you are using to plan for the future of your child, I advise, please set aside 100 naira out of that 1,000 naira daily to help so that we can plan for the future of those who have nobody to plan for their future. Because this one that don't have anybody to help them plan for their future, you are busy planning for the future of your child to have the best, this best, that best. When your child has acquired all the best education, best job, and you want to begin to enjoy the car, the house, it is those ones that do not have anybody to help them plan for their future as a result of addiction they find themselves in. They are the ones that will make life unbearable for your child. Even when he or she begins to enjoy that life, they could fall into criminality that will endanger the life of that your daughter or your son. So eventually, you have not secured the future of your son or your daughter if you are thinking about them alone and you are not thinking about those boys in the streets. It is a lesson for the general public.